lines to vote. And if Americans really want to cast their vote for their candidate, they are going to be willing to stand in a line, no matter how long that line is. And you also gave a statistic on the fact that certain races and genders were more far behind in the lines, but that's not as true because voting is a race war. And lines at a voting poll are not based on your ethnicity or your gender or your race. And also, saying that technology is stuck in 2002, let's look at some of the technology that we've invented. iPhones and MacBooks and computers. This has all been invented since 2002. So the evidence that technology is stuck in 2002 doesn't really make sense. And Mitt Romney didn't win the 2012 presidential election. So that his votes were being changed to vote for Mitt Romney, it really didn't matter because Obama still won the election. And in the presidential election, the country is based up on electoral colleges. So one individual vote may not change an electoral college on who that. So it's not going to affect the presidential election as much, just because the electoral colleges are what eventually adds up to make the presidential election and who wins. And also, electronic voting machines, when the lines, it's a lot easier to press a button than it is to check something with a pencil or write something out. And a lot of people would agree with that because would you rather sit there and take 50 seconds to write out something, or would you rather just click a button very quickly? And also the fact that there are still 20 states that don't use this ECA's testing. They also still do have their own testing, and they still do try to limit and make sure that everything is secure and that nothing does influence their votes. And you also said that the electronic voting machines in 2000, that's not true because in 2000 it was a hole punch system and not an electronic voting machine. So the error in the 2000 presidential election was because of a non-electronic voting system instead of electronic voting system, and that's when electronic voting systems began to be put in place because of that 2000 presidential election. And also, safeguards can be placed to make sure that certain voting machines are safe, and you can put a safeguard on it to make sure that they won't be hacked. And also, these voting machines go through laboratory testing, so it's not like they're just going in there and they're not ever being used. They've been checked by the ECA, so the ECA and the federal government is allowing these voting machines to be used. So, since the federal government is not limiting these voting machines, why should the American citizens begin to limit these voting machines?